All right, so I got a lot to talk about. Firstly, well, I'm making this because I made a lot of videos and I had complications with them, and I wanted to talk through them instead of just showing them or repeating them. I only like playing when I post up a video of a game that I play. My shtick is that I really tried hard to play games I haven't really played or I don't really play or I'm not really experienced in. That's my whole point. So 99% of the games I have on my channel are games I've never even touched before. There's some exceptions. There's Mag. Um, Mag. I think Mag's probably the biggest offender because Mag I played a lot of. And anyway, I'm diverging from the point. But firstly, Battlestar Galactica. I still haven't found a group for that. I'm still trying. I really want to make more videos of Battlestar Galactica. I really want to make it something special. I would kill to find a group I'd film once a week with and put up like a weekly game thing and just I have ideas for it and I want to totally make it like professional. Really. Um, I still haven't found a group. To be honest, I haven't really even tried looking as I've had a lot going on. I can't. I'd like to go back to the gaming group. I don't know if that's possible, but because they were really good about filming it. But I gotta ingratiate myself with the group and getting good with them, and then try to convince them I'm not trying to do it for money or anything like that. But I would kill. The expansion supposedly I think it's coming out this September. I think there might be an influx of people playing that. I would love that. That would be a great time to whip up the camera and say, hey, one, here's what I'm trying to do. I definitely think it's possible. I live in LA. It's a very populous city. There's got to be people playing this somewhere, and some people were willing for me to film it. And so I would just love to just, oh, that would be so killer, just to do it. But anyway, that's not really what this is about. This is about the games I tried to film, and I just wanted to talk through them. Uh, I don't know what I'm gonna be putting up on the background. I think maybe Monaco. Monaco. This is a game I tried to film the first time I've been playing with my friends. The audio levels were so fucking off, it wasn't even funny. Like normally my audio levels are a little fucked up to normal. This one, my voice overpowered everything, followed by the game music if you could barely hear it, and then my friends in the background you can't even hear them on the tape. So I think I realized halfway through what was going on. So in the game, I lowered the audio, and you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't even hear me. And I'm like, what? I lowered the audio in the game, and Fraps was like, nah, you know what? I don't think you want to hear anything. So anyway, Monaco, nothing really happened. I just played the game. It's a really fun game. Anyway, what I wanted to start off with, first of all, the first game I want to start off with is To the Moon. To the Moon is it's a game where the brief synopsis you play as a couple of doctors who have this device that allow you to go into somebody's memories. The particular person's memories you're going to is a guy named Johnny, and he wants to fly to the moon. I think that's the whole shtick. So you go into his memories, and it's like Inception. You have to go into his memories and like implant the thought of him going to the moon. Give him the inspiration and the motivation to go to the moon. Okay, it's a decent game. I have one major fucking gripe with it is that on the Steam store it's called an RPG. This game is not an RPG. If you're going into this expecting an RPG, you will be sorely fucking disappointed. This game, it's a point and click adventure is what it really is. There's no RPG elements whatsoever in this game. And I think there's some pretentiousness behind the developer, whoever made this, calling it an RPG is really low. It's a low blow because it looks like a JRPG. It looks like it came out of the Super Nintendo. It looks like a classic game you would play on the Super Nintendo. It looks like I'd say it looks like Legend of Legaia. No, Legend of Gaia. I'm sorry, Legend of Legaia. What am I smoking? It looks like Legend of Gaia, and with a little. Actually, it looks a lot like RPG Maker. But anyway, um, don't be fooled. I know there's on the Steam store. There's a picture of like a combat scene with you with one of the scientists and two children against a squirrel. That's a joke. I tried filming this and I don't know. I fucked up. It was my fault. I pressed the wrong button at the wrong time. It got nothing. Um, this game, it would be nice if it didn't fool me, because I was fully expecting RPG, and throughout the game I'm like, when's the fight's gonna start? When's this gonna start rolling? And it just, it's not an RPG. It's just point and click. There's the gameplay in here is abysmal. There is no fucking gameplay here whatsoever. No real puzzles to speak of. It's not even a game. It's, I would compare it to Home. If you played Home, you know what I'm talking about. Except Home is a little more interesting, even though it's a little cheaper. It's like, I think you play it for like 30 minutes, like a 30-minute game. It's really really fast. You only play it once and that's it. But Home is like $3. This game's like 10. And it's the same fucking game, to be honest. Except I think the story in here is going in an interesting place, though. I have a feeling I can predict where it's going. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, I really wish it wouldn't. I could just see the developer going, yeah, it's an RPG because you play the role of these two doctors. It's as much an RPG as fucking Zelda is. And newsflash, Zelda is not an RPG. RPGs are when you play a role in the story, like is story's outcome, and usually involves character building. Character building it's the integral ingredient of an RPG. You cannot have an RPG, a true RPG, without character building. I mean, you have JRPG is probably the lightest RPG in terms of being an RPG, where or JRPG, you really have no input or any kind of influence over the storyline technically. Though there's heavy character building, there's typically even the battle. The battle sequences are usually more developed in the JRPG than it is in an American or a European. But those RPGs, guys, don't be calling your shit RPGs when they aren't. I remember my uncle saying something like, "Well, isn't Call of Duty RPG because you're playing the role of an SAS agent?" And I wanted to say, then every game would be an RPG. You have to sit down and tell people what RPGs are when they know damn full well what you're talking about. They know, they're just being smartasses, but they fucking know. If you hear Dungeons and Dragons, think about it for a little bit. You create your character, you put out his stats, and then you act out the character. That's an RPG. Okay, let's end it there. And talking about, I'm gonna segue into something else here. I'm probably gonna lose a lot of fans for this, but Steam's early access program. There are a couple of games that really, I'm all for the early access, but with Steam, I think the quality control really needs to be looked at. And there's two games here that I really don't like. I'm gonna go off with the lesser of the two. Kinetic Void. This is a game where you build your own spaceship and you fly around. It's kind of like Independence War or Independent. What is it? Independence. Yeah, Independence War 2. That the one where it's like a free space sim where you're flying around and you have your own. You have rep with like different stations. It's kind of like, if you play the X. I think X is big now. X Reborn. There's some other ones. I guess Dark Space, if you want to count that, Dark Space One or Dark Star One. I'm sorry. There's a ton of them. Space pirates and zombies. A ton of them. This game, it's an early access game, so I can forgive it. It's a little. I don't think. No, it's not that. But it wasn't that buggy for me. The game. Here's my biggest problem with both of these games. The other one I haven't mentioned yet, but this one, it drops you off with no fucking tutorial and no intro. Now, I'm looking at the patch notes and they're patching stupid shit like, we're fixing the rep you have between this trader at this particular station. We're adding in 5 different zones. We're fixing the bugs here. And I'm like, why are you worried about rep with another trader and the combat system when the intro, it just pops you into nowhere? Like, the I tried to build my own ship, and grant I'm so uncreative with building shit. Like in Minecraft, I don't play Minecraft. I actually play Terraria because the third dimension fucks me up so bad. I love Terraria. I do not like Minecraft. Even though I realize Minecraft's good, I just can't build shit. I just build a house, and that's all I can do is box. I can build boxes on top of boxes, and that's all I can do. I can't build grand statues or anything like that. And this game does not help me at all. And you kind of think, well, this game maybe isn't for you. I'm thinking, well, it didn't really need to be. Like, I should not have to know how to build something in order to play this game. It's really silly. but thankfully with Kinetic Void, you can select a pre-selected ship, and I had problems controlling the ship. I don't know if there was a button config in the menu. Probably not, because I think I would have found it out. But the game, it was, I didn't know if I was moving forward or backward. The game just pops you in the middle of nowhere and throws some ships at you. It's there's no intro to speak of. So here's my main gripe: is that the intro to me is the most important thing to a video game. You can't start a video game without an intro, and I mean introduction, how the game works. Even if it's a game you've played a million times before, part of a genre, you know exactly what's going on. You can't, for somebody who's new, they can't figure out what the fuck is going on or what this game's about. And it just, this game shuts the door in your fucking face. And I think that it's unfair to even qualify for early access if you can't even, what else could you be working on if not the intro? If you get what I'm saying, like, there's like, I'll give you an example. It doesn't matter if New York exists if you can't drive, if you can't, if you can't cross the bridge to it, or if you see what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter if well, that's silly. I was about to make a really stupid analogy, but I caught myself. It's really, in terms of a house building, it's really fucking stupid to install plumbing in a frame of a house. Like, why would I? Nothing's been made yet. You have the bare minimum frame. How about we put some walls up? How about we put the roof up first before we start furnishing the place? It's so fucking stupid. They're worried about the fucking the Sway's lounge in the fucking bedroom or whatever when there's no roof on the fucking house. I'm like, it's no good. I know it's early access, but still, I mean, I can't. I'm not even going to recommend it to people. And I love games like that. I love running around space sims. Even though there, in my opinion, there hasn't been a good one yet since Independence War. Maybe X could suck a cock. I really don't like X. Anyway, and that brings me to the worst offender of them all. I really, Kerbal Space Program is, it's like To the Moon, where it fooled me so fucking hard. This game has these little guys look like Despicable Me fuckers, except they're green. And it looks like it looks like space. It would be like Space Tycoon or something from Bullfrog. In the early days of Bullfrog. I'm talking like 1995, 1997. It looks like a fun little game. It doesn't take itself seriously. This game is serious to the fucking core. This game is hardcore fucking. If you don't know how to build a spaceship, get the fuck out. This is what this game's saying. This early access piece of shit. I'm calling it a piece of shit because it fucking. This game fooled me so fucking hard. I mean, looking at the front, it looks like this game, like I said before. Alright, actually, I'm not going to repeat myself. It looks innocent. It looks like a fun game. You just like you send these Kerbals into space and they died, they killed themselves. Whoops! I need to adjust the rocket booster on stage 4 or something like that. This game is hardcore fucking serious. This game is so, you have to be able to build a spaceship in this shit. There are no pre-selectable spaceships. You have to know what the fuck you're doing with no tutorial. I'm looking past the game. This game crashed on me a lot. Whatever. It's early access. I can forgive that. But this game has, like, you have to know what you're doing. You can't just strap a rocket onto a fuselage and expect it to go just for shits and giggles. And I gotta wonder, when people started first, when the rocket program started, I'm pretty sure isn't that how it started? Really? I mean, I could just imagine a couple of dudes with a firecracker, just tying it to a stick, and then just let's see what happens. Boom. Okay, well, maybe I should adjust this. Boom, and then fired it off and went up a few feet in the air. I'm pretty sure if you go to college or any kind of rudimentary high school project, it would just have like, we'll stick a rocket or some kind of propulsion device onto a stick or a Coke bottle and let's watch it go. And then the teacher would tell you why this worked and why, stuff like this. This game fucking drops you in the middle of NASA and says, good fucking luck, motherfucker. I hope you know how to build shit. This game is fucking crazy. And there's no hope for you if you do not know what you're doing. This game is unplayable. It's flat out fucking unplayable. Now, I'm sure there are guides online for this. Now, here's where I'm coming in again. There shouldn't have to be third party guides for this. The game, they should be working this as I speak. They should be working on how to fucking build your own rocket. It should be ingrained in the fucking tutorial. There should be a tutorial for this thing. It should be the first fucking thing they work on. And I think the best example what I'm getting at is Project Zomboid, where this game is an alpha, and it's been out for a few years. But there's an intro, there's a tutorial that you can play, and it teaches you the basics of the fucking game. And there's also a sandbox mode that drops you in the middle of the game, and it works. It's fundamental. I think the area is pretty small. The area you work in, it's pretty small, but you get the point of the game. This game just fucking I feel almost robbed, even though it's early access and you get what you pay for. What you see is what you get. But this game is fucking atrocious. And to further my point, this game has both games, Connect Void and Kerbal Space Program, both have trading cards to it. That shit needs to stop. No trading cards for early access games, please. These guys don't need more money. These guys need to get off their ass and fucking make a tutorial to make the game even remotely fucking playable for the idiots like me. Because we're guys giving you money. I mean, I figure you want money. You want people to back your project. Word of mouth. I mean, I can't fucking recommend this game if it's unfucking playable. You cannot play this game if you have. Kerbal Space Program, I gotta get more into that because not only do you have to build a rocket, you have to build the fucking stages of the rocket. I shit you not. Like you can't just build a rocket and have it fly up. You need to put the fuel stages where the rockets, the fuel boosters, and the different rockets boost off and fucking. Are you for fucking real with this shit? Oh fuck. Anyway, Kerbal Space Program when the train card when Steam train cards came out, they had this. I think the summer sale was in the middle of the summer sale, like July 15th or some crazy July. It was in the beginning of July. Kerbal Space Program was one of the special trading cards you can get. It's like, come the fuck on, don't promote this game. I'm tired of it. Now you might wonder why am I griping about this? You know, you can just play another game. The reason why I gripe about this is that I really don't think these games will be done. I'm severely skeptical as to whether or not these games will be done. And why do you think I'm skeptical is because all this has happened before. This whole indie game boost and this whole thing has happened before. It happened about a little over 10 years ago. And I want to get back to about 1998, 1999. This was when Half Life came out, around in there. And Half Life had Half Life was really customizable in that it was really mod friendly, and a lot of people made mods for this game. And I'm pretty I this is what I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure Doom and Quake had a ton of fucking mobs. I know Quake had Team Fortress, which was a fucking hit. I loved it. But Half Life, I think more in particular, Half Life had a fuck ton of mods. A fuck ton. I'm not joking. They had Desert Crisis, Firearms, Science and Industry, Pirates, Vikings, and Knights, Sven Co-op. The dime a dozen, a ton of them. There was a Stargate one, and that's what I'm seeing here. And none of them were finished. All of them were in betas. All of them were betas and alphas. It was because these guys were just too. Personally, I think these games were done, and done in that this was as far as the developers wanted to take it. That's what I mean by done. And these guys kept it in beta because they're so fucking scared of just they're so scared of the backlash, and that if they release this product, they're just so scared that like so many people are gonna be all like, "This is a beta. This game sucked." I think of all the games, there was maybe a handful that fucking made it, really made it. Day of Defeat, Counter Strike. Counter Strike's probably the biggest example. Day of Defeat, Red Orchestra. There's another one that's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember. Fuck. A lot of games. A lot of games had potential. So like, Science of Industry was really good. It was really really good. It was about it was almost like a capture. It was not unlike Pirates of Vikings and Knights. If you haven't played that, it's a lot like It's almost like capture the flag except with scientists. You have you play as like a corporate enforcer, and your goal is to sneak in the enemy base, and you have to hit scientists over the head with your briefcase and then carry them back to your base and put them and work like put them back in your little think tank. You have your own think tank of scientists, and these scientists constantly think up stuff for you, and they think up better technology for you to be able to succeed in your corporation. And there was like technology like better weapons. There was also little side technology like better armor. I remember there being a radio that looped around the Inspector Gadget theme, and you can install it in your enemy's think tank, and it would distract them and make their research slower. It was a really fun game. It never really took off the ground. I think of all the mods that didn't really make it to super retail, I think Desert Crisis was the one. I think that was the most finished. And ironically, that was a pretty new one on the scene. It came pretty late. I'm talking 2001 ish, and it was pretty nice. It was pretty polished, and it was your basic death match, but it was like a super customizable death match with there was like weight. It was almost like Mag. It had weight loads instead of like preset slots, so you can have like a super rocket launcher in this one slot. I think it was weight actually. I haven't played this game in like a decade, so I don't even know. Anyway, I'm getting off kind of getting off point, but I don't think these games will be finished because it just reminds me too much of the mod boom. And none of those mods really made it anywhere except for the handful I mentioned, like Red Orchestra, Day of Defeat, Counter Strike. There's one more I wanted to point out, but I really totally forgot it. But yeah, I mean, it's these games. I can't recommend these games, and what other games I can't recommend? As segueing from unfinished shit, I bought the Final Fantasy. I made a video about Final Fantasy 14. It came out 2 days ago, last Tuesday, and this game, Final Fantasy and Square Enix, it never fails to amaze me how they could fuck up the mechanics. Hold on, I gotta. Everyone talk out the window and shit, having conversations. Anyway, whoa, almost fell on my chair. Anyway, Final Fantasy, it never phased me. It never ceases to amaze me how they can fuck up the mechanics. They're Square Enix when it comes to MMOs, or at least the past two. They fuck up the mechanics of the game so fucking bad. It's not even funny how it's almost as if anything technical they will fuck up and fuck up large, and they fuck it up themselves. And case in point, I'll start off not with 14. I'll start off with 11. 11 had a thing called Play Online. Play Online, to put it to make it basic, it was supposed to be like Steam. It was supposed to be like Steam for it was way before Steam actually. Well, actually, I wouldn't say way before Steam. Steam was being talked about in 2001, 2002. That I know for sure. It didn't really come out until later. Play Online was in. I think Play Online was on like at 2003 or maybe even 2002. Play Online is a system where it's like I said, it's like Steam. You needed to play certain games, and it was like a little catalog where you have your own little games. You register them. Play Online had this fucking system called content IDs, and that when you bought a game, you needed a content ID. This content ID let you play the game. It was your license to play the game, to put it bluntly. And this is fuck. I'm explaining it as simply as possible. When you go on the server or play online, it picks the most obtuse fucking explanation. Play online is how your gate key to play awesome fucking games. And I'll see a content ID could be used for all sorts of games and blah 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 blah. Blah. I'm telling you, it's an ID to play a game. That's all it is. For Final Fantasy 11, it was for each character. Your content ID, every character you wanted to play on needed a content ID. And the way the billing system worked, it billed you on your content ID and what you had on it. Your content ID didn't cost anything, but what you had on it cost money. So you can have a billion content IDs if you wanted to, but you're only charged with what you have printed on there. So, like, let's say you want to play Payday or something like that. Payday. I was gonna say Payday too. That's why it sounded weird when I said Payday. Anyway, you want to play Payday, so you need a content ID for Payday. And Payday, how much is Payday? Like $20. So that content ID pays is $20, $20. So you pay $20, and now you have access, and it's right there on you. That's what it is. Except in the MMO term, it was Final Fantasy 11, I believe, was $13 a month. So your first character was for $13 a month, and if you want additional content IDs, each character thereafter was $1 a month. And so it had this it didn't. You're like, if you haven't played this shit, you're already going, why, and why is right, because I don't think any other fucking MMO had this system at all. It was really fucking really convoluted. It actually when I joined, I actually played Final Fantasy 11 for about 5 years. I quit. I played in 2004, and I quit in '09, and then I joined back up in 2010. What happened to me in 2010 was I forgot that when you quit Final Fantasy, you don't delete a content ID really, because you have to delete the character, then delete the content ID if you want to wipe everything out. Well, I didn't want to wipe everything out. So what you do is when you want to keep your character but you don't want to pay for it, you deactivate it. So I deactivated it. When I came back, I totally fucking forgot about the content ID system, and I bought quote unquote bought. I think I have five characters. I bought five content IDs, and then I realized, holy shit! And then content IDs, I couldn't link my character because my character already had content ID. So I was like, oh shit, I made a mistake. So I deactivated those content IDs, and I reactivated the ones I wanted. I'm playing for a month. At the end of the month, the game kicks me out and it goes, "You can't play this game." I go, "Why?" Um, you have unlinked content IDs, and I go, "Well, they're unlinked. Okay, how do I unlink them?" You can't. I go, well, "You have to link them to your account." And I said, "Well, I'm thinking they were linked to my account since I fucking activated them on my account. I mean, who else could I fucking be? How else could I have started? It would be like if I had fucking five social security numbers that just popped in my hand, and then the U.S. government said, "Hey, what are you doing with those social security numbers? They don't have people linked to them." And I go, "Well, I guess they're linked to me because I bought them from you, or they're registered to me." But you don't have them linked to you. And I go, "Yes, I do. I bought them." You see what I'm getting at? It's like that, not counterfeit. Like, imagine if the U.S. government just gave this to you. And it literally would not let me play with my existing characters because my content IDs were not linked. So I quit. I quit the game again. I said, "Forget it. I quit." This is money Square Enix could have had if it wasn't for this obtuse system. Now, when they now I joined back a year later, and they revamped the program to make it a little more. It was better. It was the same program except they took out the content IDs. You still have to use Play Online because Final Fantasy 11 has the worst game engine, the worst design of all mankind. It's like if they took out Play Online, Final Fantasy 11 would probably be unplayable. Like, that's the way. It's so fucking hard. Like, it's so rooted into the system that it's so that you cannot play the game without it. Um. Anyway, where I'm getting at is that their mechanics are very terrible. So Final Fantasy 14 comes out. So the beta. I made a video about this, and I should have kept it because I ran into problems from minute one from this beta. Um, I I tried to join the beta. I shit you not. I swear on a stack of Bibles this happened. I wish I caught it on tape, and I think I did, but I deleted it. When they asked you for what province you were in, or what region, or what state, or what country I mean, whatever. I couldn't find United States. I looked high and low. I found United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates. I found every African province, every Arabian place you could. I found Afghanistan. I found everything. I found British Columbia, Alberta, everywhere, anywhere you want. Can't. I mean, the moon, New Zealand, everything. Could not find United States anywhere. So I signed. I said, I'll just sign up as United Kingdom. And I signed up as United Kingdom, and I got a registration code, and the code didn't work because evidently I had to be in the United Kingdom in order to use it. And I went, touche, Square Enix. So I signed up for the beta again, and this time United States appeared, and I managed to get in the beta, the Phase 4 beta, and I played it for a little bit, and I actually played it. I got to like level 15. I played it. I'm not gonna get into schematics. And basically, Final Fantasy 14 is like it's a Final Fantasy flavored WoW. That's it. Um, I got to level 15 and I made it to an instance, and the instance kept kicking me out, and I just stopped. I said, yeah, I had enough of the beta, so I pre-ordered this game, and the early here's where it starts. The early access. It's probably the worst idea. The worst, not I shouldn't say the worst idea. It's probably the worst implemented idea. Worst idea implemented ever of all time. You got the access by pre-ordering, and you pre-ordered your game, and it gave you a code. You entered in the code, and it gave you a key. If you're I'm on the PlayStation 3, it gave me a key, and you use the key, and you get to download Final Fantasy. So I downloaded Final Fantasy, and well, actually, the key didn't work because I don't know why. Because Square Enix, um, evidently MMOs are new. I'm gonna get back to this. MMOs are actually new. If you don't believe it or not, MMOs just came out last year, I think. So that's why we're having problems with registration and floods of people coming in at a moment's notice for something because MMOs are really new. They haven't been tested yet. Um, so the the code eventually works. I get into the game and I start downloading it and I play the early access beta. Early access beta. That's what it is. Actually, I'm not gonna change that. Um, I'm playing it and I have to fight for my place online. There's I couldn't make a guy at the original server I wanted to make my friends with, but thankfully for early access I could because I logged in time basically. Um, Trying to play this game was a fucking nightmare from beginning to end. Trying to log in is a fucking disaster, and this early access is almost as if I don't know. I can't imagine so many people wanting to play this game. I think Square Enix's servers weren't no matter. All right, Final Fantasy 11 at its heyday touted 500,000 subscribers. That was when I think that was like 2006. That was when Final Fantasy was at its peak. 500,000. 500,000. They had the numbers. They knew the worst possible number was 500,000 for their Final Fantasy for their first foray into the fucking thing. They knew that was probably the minimum that they could expect on their server. So they had evidently they were caught off guard and the servers were swamped. And I was like, okay, well, this is early access. This is a beta. This is early access. It's forgivable. So I give up. I got level 15 again, and there's instance problems. There's problems with everything. Connectivity problems all around. So finally, I buy the game. I bought the game. Actually, I didn't buy the game. I picked it up. I already bought it. I picked it up on Tuesday. I plug in the code and I log in at like a midnight or something like that. And then I go, okay, well, everything seems to be set. I'm fine. So I log out. The next day I try logging back in and I can't. And evidently, I guess what you have to do in order to be able to log in is just mash the connection server over and over, and eventually you'll get in. I'm not down with that. You could suck my fucking dick, okay? I'm tired. I'm tired. Final Fantasy 11 did this to me, and I promise I wouldn't do this again. I'm fucking tired of the. It's almost like I have an addiction. It's almost like somebody's trying to wave a pack of cigarettes in my face. I'm desperately. I'm like. I'm like the guy from Menace to Society. Please, man, I'll suck your dick if you just give me some crack money for crack. Blah blah blah. That's what I feel like. I feel like when I want to play this game I've been looking forward to, and I can't log in. That's what I feel like, and I'm fucking tired of it. I'm really tired of it, and I almost want to flat out just quit and just say, you know what, I give up. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of Square Enix doing this to me at every fucking turn because there's nothing they could do right when it comes to implementing a program. When I get back to early access, the early access program, anybody could get an early access code. You didn't have to really you could pre-order a game and just not and just cash it in. You can go to GameStop, pre-order a game, put $5 down, get the code, and almost immediately say I don't want it, here you go, take my money back, and then you get your $5 back, but you already have the pre-order code. You can plug in the code and fucking have early access like anyone else. Early access is not even fucking a benefit for anyone. Anyone can get it. So the only people that couldn't get early access technically were the people who had pre-existing accounts because they couldn't plug in the code with that account. They could make a new character, but they couldn't use their existing one, so they were fucked. Everyone else on the blue planet could. So the early access system was a fucking joke. Where was I gonna? What else am I getting at here? So I'm really the connectivity problems. I refuse to believe there's 500,000 people trying to play this game. I refuse to fucking believe it. It's I can't even that. And then for Square Enix to even during the early access, they should have known something was up. I'm amazed too with the beta. So many people trying to get into the beta. I'm amazed they didn't have a fucking accurate number of what the fuck was going on before this game came out. Because for them to be taken off guard that's an unacceptable answer. They knew what was going on, and this is people. We're at how long? I'm not. I'm gonna say when WoW came out was when people needed to start when developers really started to wear their big boy pants. I know WoW had problems. The MMOs had problems when they first come out. This shit needs to end. It's not an excuse anymore. We're in year 9 of fucking WoW dominance, basically. This shit needs to stop, okay? The servers being overloaded and shit, that shit needs to stop. It needs to stop, stop, stop. Um, the it's fucking in a video game. The video game industry is never taken. It's rarely it's not taken seriously for this issue alone. The video game industry needs to grow the fuck up, and it's done growing up. And what I mean by that is, you remember this wasn't long ago. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember this. Remember back when games didn't have release dates, when games came out whenever the fuck they felt like. Do you remember having to stop by almost bi-daily or a daily basis on your electronics boutique and ask when Chrono Trigger was coming out, or when the next Mario game was coming out, or when this and that and the other was coming out, and how they would be like, well, we think Wednesday, that's when we typically get our shipments, but you might want to try back what Thursday or Friday. You remember when pre-orders didn't fucking exist? You remember when nobody had their shit together? You remember how you had to do the fucking electronics boutique fucking roadshow where you had to go from store to store to look for the game you've been really looking forward to playing, and constantly being told, well, we have one copy. You haven't doing that mad fucking dash because they wouldn't hold shit. You remember those fucking days and how they fucking sucked a boatload of cock, and how the excuse was, how if you said an excuse were, well, this is how it typically is. This is how our standard is. How that shit was really fucking retarded and old, and how people finally fucking said, you know what? Let's get together and make release dates. Let's fucking promote shit. Let's put some money behind this shit. Let's be taken seriously. I mean, have you ever done that for any other form of media? Have you ever gone to a fucking have you ever not known when a music CD was coming out? Because I'm pretty sure they had their shit together. The movies. Have you ever gone to a theater and said, "Hey, when does fucking Pacific Rim come out? When does the Avengers come out? We think it comes out on Wednesday, but just come back and see." Have you ever been through that shit? Fuck no. Any other industry would not do this shit. The video game industry is fucking retarded on every level. It's fucking retarded, but it has grown up. And I remember it wasn't too long ago when it was only systems had release dates and other games were all tentative and shit. Like they're all like, we don't know when this game is coming out, whatever. And when they did, only 5 copies came and shit. That's Square Enix to a T. They're still living in the Stone Ages. And I find that to be, it's not an excuse for this MMO to be all like, it's typical MMOs to have a rocky release date. That's not excusable anymore. This is, like I said, this is year 9. let's knock it off with the fucking. And this is Square Enix. This is Final Fantasy. This is their second MMO. This is their third fucking try at it, at the whole MMO game. I mean, they fucking so. But I'm pretty sure they sucked a boatload of dick when 1.0 of fucking Final Fantasy 14 came out, and here they are sucking more dick, and it's not an excuse anymore. And I'm not as angry as I normally would be at this case, because I predicted it from the start that this was going to happen, but because not because of MMOs being typically having rocky release dates or rocky launches, but because it's Square Enix and they can't do anything right. And I'm talking with a friend who's really in the MMO, Final Fantasy 14. He disappeared off the face of the fucking earth because that's Square Enix. I don't blame him. It's Square Enix. He's Square Enix is fucked him up. Here's a guy who's loyal to the bitter end of Square Enix, or not Square Enix, but Final Fantasy. He loves Final Fantasy. This guy won't show his fucking face, even though he's been hyping the game for me, because I know he can't log in. I know he's having problems. But he just doesn't want. He's just. I feel bad for him because Final Fantasy's fucked him up. But anyway, he's been hyping his game to me. He's touting the futures. He mentioned how there's going to be player owned housing. There might be guild owned housing, real estate in Final Fantasy, and I say bullshit, bullshit. Um, the reason why I'm making a prediction now, and I know I'm going to be 100% right, and I'll give you the reasons for it. I haven't made predictions. I should have taped all my predictions for the Final Fantasy 14, because every single one of them, even before 1.0 came out, were 100% true. When they said they were announcing an MMO and they didn't know what it was called, I said it was called Final Fantasy, and that was going to suck, because I gave you two bases of facts. Because they can't sell a game if it's not called Final Fantasy. Square Enix cannot sell an RPG unless it's called Final Fantasy. And they've done it in the past where they've taken a completely other game and slapped Final Fantasy on it, put it in America, because us Hyjins or Gaijins are so fucking stupid. We can't accept their shitty fucking RPGs. Saga Frontier sucked a boatload of dick, and they're so fucking they're so upset. This is my plan. My I guess this is what's happening. They're so fucking distraught at this shit that they gotta call it Final Fantasy. We're fucking retards because we'll buy anything as long as it's called Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy Legend 1 and 2 stuck dick. They both sucked. Well, actually, I take it back. I love Final Fantasy Legend 2. Final Fantasy Legend 1 sucked dick. They were both Saga Frontier. Final Fantasy Adventure for the Game Boy also, that was the first Secret of Mana. So that's why when you see Secret, what is it, Dakuzen Densu 3, you're like, 3? This is Secret of Mana 2. Why is it called 3? It's because Final Fantasy Adventure in America was the first Secret of Mana. So that's why it's like, aha, now you get what I'm saying, because that game played a lot like Secret of Mana. Um, I predicted that. I'm making another prediction too. Player-owned housing, if it even happens, I think it might. I'm giving them to their credit, Square Enix, they're doing their best. They're trying to fix this shit. To their credit, they are. It's just this shit shouldn't have happened and didn't need to happen in the first place. And it seemed like if they had their heads together and they were actually thinking, this would have never happened. We'd all be playing Final Fantasy. We'd all be having a fun time. Um, but yeah, the oh yeah, keeping your beta characters from Phase 4 was the biggest fucking dumbest goddamn retarded idea of all time. Who gives a shit about your beta character you've only had 3 days to work on? Who fucking cares? Delete those fucking characters. Probably half the people that started them are even gonna use them. They're just taking up fucking slots that other people could be using to build their own characters on. Anyway, my prediction: player-owned housing. It's going to take 4 years for it to implement, and when it's implemented, it will suck dick. What are my basis for this? What do I have to back this up? Well, in Final Fantasy, there are chocobos, and some Final Fantasy games. Well, actually, I think only one. You could raise a chocobo, and you can race it and shit. You know the one I'm talking about. It happens to be probably the most popular fucking Final Fantasy of all time. Um, Final Fantasy 11. It took 4 years for them to put chocobo racing in the game. 4 fucking years. Two expansions in. It didn't come with the second expansion. It came like midway towards the endish. Chocobo racing finally. Um, yeah. Evidently that wasn't a big priority raising choke, and when they implemented it, it sucked a boatload of dick. It sucked so hard. I hope you liked black chocobos because that's all you fucking got. You maybe there was a handful of blue, green, and reds, but I mean most of the eggs you'd get were black ones, and so you found yourself getting as many chocobo eggs as you could. Getting a black one, maybe you didn't want that color, so you had to abandon the whole chocobo raising project, get another egg put in the system. Oh gosh, it's the same color. Reject. It might be the same color, same thing if you had another color, except black was so abundant it wasn't even funny. So there was no rhyme or reason for you to get another color. If you mated your chocobo with another one, it could be any fucking color. No, the colors were I think yellow, black, blue, green, and red, and there was no rhyme or reason to what color meant what. And then now later on they implemented chocobo dye, which is like why didn't they do that in the fucking first place? But whatever. Chocobo racing sucked a boatload of dick, and I don't think anybody ever does it anymore. And half the ideas they implement, they're good ideas. They're implemented the worst way possible, and they just make them unfucking fun. There's no reason. There really, I mean, and there was really no reason for them for the majority of them to be black or I mean, really, it was just so fucking stupid. And getting the eggs, you can only get the eggs in special events. So fucking stupid. Like there are certain quests and shit you can get eggs from. So yeah, player-owned housing for fucking years. And if it gets implemented at all, and if it does, it will suck. It will suck hard. How will I think it suck? Um, Let me think. Um, I don't know because Square Enix will surprise me. They'll think of ways for it to suck, but I can't think of any. Hmm. Really trying to think. It's really trying to put on my thinking cap here. Ooh, I don't know. I think it'll suck by maybe they won't even release it. Um, but yeah, I'll end on a positive note. They are doing their best with 14. They're really trying to resolve the issues. Um, but my answer to their bullshit is not spamming the num key O button or the X button if you're on the PlayStation 3. I'm just gonna sit back and relax and watch as probably a Final Fantasy 14 filled Labor Day weekend goes to waste because I know they won't fix this in time for Labor Day weekend. They're never gonna bother. Oh, sorry for ending on a positive note. There's another thing I fucking the server clusters. There's two of them, and there's two columns. There's Japan and the North American and European servers are combined into one. And I'm thinking, why? That's really, if I'm using, that's really weird. If that, I mean, that's, I gotta figure. There can't be as many Japanese players as there is North American players, and my basis is that based on just land mass of how many players there could possibly be, or future players there could possibly be, you can't tell me a place like Japan or an island, basically your island, could have more players than North America. And you think, well, Japanese players could be another term for Asia. It could be in China. There could be a lot of Chinese players. And I agree with you, except that the only servers that are being overloaded are the North American ones. So it shoots your theory down flat that they should have seen this coming. And I don't know why you combine Europe and United States into that are far bigger land. This is just off the top of my head, and I'm only talking about Europe and United States. I'm not talking the whole fucking America system and Europe and fucking Africa. You want to get politically correct? Let's add those fucking shits in there and see who's. Oh, China can't fucking stand a chance. Anyway, I mean, you combine that shit and you're like, you going off Final Fantasy 11. I know it started off with a big Japanese user base, but I'm pretty sure North America and Europe probably like they eked out. They had, I'm pretty sure, or I don't know. I could be wrong. But when your servers are overloaded and the Japanese servers are just there's just nothing there, come the fuck on, people. Really, I mean, Square Enix. It's just a lack of foresight and everything, and yeah, I guess that's it. Again, I'll try to end on a positive note again. They're doing their best, I guess, and some people are able to get on if they spam the number key and stuff. So I mean, if you really want the pack of cigarettes, I guess they'll jump for them. And if you don't mind it, then more power to you. If you're able to play, oh great, I envy you. Even though I'll probably be able to catch up with your ass anyway, so it won't even matter. Um, or maybe not. Who cares? Anyway, I think that's all I got. Other games, my future plans. I don't really have any. I made a Final Fantasy 14 video, and my prognosis is starts mediocre. It's Final Fantasy with it's WoW flavor. It's I say it's Final Fantasy flavored WoW, and it is, and that's a good thing. They say a lot of people are playing because it's so much better than 1.0. I like I said before, I don't want to give them credit for something they should have gotten right in the first place. They went out of their way. Remember, I didn't play 1.0, but just looking at it, it did everything in its power to drive me away from it. The jobs looked confusing as fuck. I looked up like all the jobs, the names sounded interesting, but looking at the synopsis made no fucking sense. Like Gladiator. Gladiator is your sword and shield guy. Gladiator sword and shield? What? I guess Marauder is your tank? What? And it tanks with a great axe. That's your no. Go what? And then the biggest problem was that there were two mage classes and there was no indication as to who was the healer and who was the damage dealer. And that bro, I said I can't play this game. I'm not sinking money into it. They did. I mean, they cannot get anything right. And looking at it is the same fucking problem they had with Final Fantasy 11. And Final Fantasy 11, there's only one tank, two tanks, two healers, and I shit you not, over 16 fucking classes that do damage. I'm not joking. There's a severe fucking imbalance in DD jobs. So fucking severe. And you think, well, yeah, there's a lot of fucking there's just more people playing DPS jobs. It's because there's just so many interesting jobs in the game that you would just want to play as. It just so happened to be DPS. And in Final Fantasy 11, you can't survive a hit. Even tanks fucking die fast. That's why there's only one or two tanks. Warrior can't be a tank because they just can't take a hit. They just don't have the shield skill. They don't have the damage and mitigation power. And I quit Final Fantasy 11. I quit it just before an expansion came out. The expansion had added two more fucking jobs, bringing the total jobs. I think the total jobs were like 20, bringing it up to 22 or 20. I can't remember. 22 jobs, and one of them was a magic AoE tank. This was a great sword tank that tanked via magic, and I laughed, and I said "fuck you," and I quit. And I had no hope for this expansion. I even forget the name of the expansion. I totally fucking forgot. Oh, Secrets of Adeline. I'm sorry. There we go. I got it. You can that job can't. I haven't looked at it. That job can't tank because Paladin can barely fucking tank. It's supposed to be like Paladin except magic tank. It can tank magic. Here's my problem. Here's why I foresee Final Fantasy 11 kind of ran out of steam. It totally ran out of ideas at about, I would say, 2006, where every mob. This was at the point where pretty much every mob did AOE attacks. That was its, and the harder the AOE attack, the harder the mob was. That's basically their answer for everything. And if they wanted to make a mob hard, it would just spam more AOEs. That was literally, I shit you not, that's the answer. And if they wanted to make it harder, they put more mobs that spam more AOEs. And it was escalation over and over and over, up, 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 up. And that's how it was. And I said, I'm out. If this is their idea of difficulty, I'm out. And so I quit, and I'm not looking back. I'm not playing that shit. Final Fantasy 14. I don't know. I'm interested to see how the end game is. I'm interested to see how it pans out. The way this is, I can't imagine me playing this game for all that long. I'm gonna um what's funny that I'll give it credit. The again with the system implementation, how it implemented, I got handed to Square Enix. Still, they're the only. I think they're the only. They're the only company that managed to have an MMO on a cross-platform MMO that works on the same shit. Like I'm cross-platform. I don't mean Mac and PC. I'm talking console, the fucking PC, and have them all play together on the same account. That's great. Excellent. Kudos to them. That's great. This one's a little weird. In this one, in Final Fantasy 11, if you had an account, so long as you had a copy of the game, you could play it. Meaning that if you had a PC copy and it was yours and you bought it new and you had the code and you registered and you had an account, you could play it on anything. You can play if somebody gave you their copy of Final Fantasy, you could play it on an Xbox or a PlayStation 2. That was great. This one you can't. This one, if you have a PC copy, you have to put in that code on your account, and you can only play on the PC. Now, if you have your friend's copy of Final Fantasy, any old copy of Final Fantasy, you can play on any PC you want. But if your friend had a PlayStation 3 version, you can't log in on your PS3 with that account. You have to have a separate account. So, me, in anticipation of bullshit, I bought a copy for the Windows and a copy for the PlayStation 3. And what's great is that now I can play both characters on both systems now. I can play all my characters on both systems. But what they did was, you know how when you buy an MMO, it gives you free 30 days. Um, in this one, when I plugged in both codes, it actually gave me 60 free days in total. So that's pretty nice, actually. I got handed to him for being consistent because I didn't see that coming. So like I said, for as long as I'll play, I'm giving it 60 days, I guess, because that's how many days I have for free. Um, I can't see myself playing more than the way this is going. Like I said, I'm interested in how it's panning out. I'm gonna give it a year. I think the game will just drive me away. That's my prediction. The game will just drive me away. I could be wrong. I could get sucked back into it. I quit Final Fantasy 11 twice. The second time I came back, actually I quit Final Fantasy 1 once, twice, three times. The second time I quit, I did eventually come back, and I played for almost 2 years afterwards. I came back 2011. I quit earlier this year, 2013, and I had lots of fun. I played it for the people. Um, I never really gave a reason why I quit, except life got really hectic, and my body couldn't handle it. I need sleep. I can't fuck around. And Final Fantasy broke me in half. Like I really, um, I probably could have played with a more restricted schedule, but I don't think I really don't think my friends would have wanted me to play on that schedule. I know they miss me. I miss them, but I didn't. I want to go all in or balls out. I don't want to play. I don't want to be the guy who logs in and doesn't do anything and then logs back out. I didn't want to be the guy who watches other people play and I just don't do anything, or I'm the recluse guy and why isn't he doing anything, or I want I give I just couldn't play anymore, and I need sleep, I needed everything, I need all the power I could get. Um, Not only that, I just the game I officially had the game was giving me a lot of stress, a lot of heartache, and I realized that I was dreading logging in. I knew if I logged in, I knew something was going to go wrong. I was gonna I was gonna piss somebody off, or I wasn't, or not so much piss somebody off. I was gonna let somebody down, and that's what I felt like. I felt like, I'm just gonna log in, and people are gonna be disappointed in me, or people are not gonna. I'm gonna promise something and not deliver, and I can't do this anymore. I was so much stress, and I just logged out. And WoW did the same thing to me. Eventually, I quit. Eve did the same thing. I love Eve to death. Eve, Eve pushed the wrong button on me, and I highly recommend Eve. If there's an MMO, I would. If there was only one MMO I would ever want to play that I could ever play again, and that would be the only MMO I could play. If I were on Desert Island, what MMO would I pick? That would be Eve, and Eve because everything fucking makes sense. That's all I have to say. Everything makes sense. It has a learning curve. It has an insane learning curve. It's not the game you think it is. Um, but I love it. I love it because it's realistic. It's probably the most realistic game. If this place existed, this is exactly how it would fucking run. If you're a capsuleer, this is how it would fucking work, and everything fucking makes sense. I'm talking, you have ship insurance, you have fucking, you could send out contracts to dudes to help you do shit. It was fucking beautiful. The implementation is beautiful. The mechanics are beautiful. Everything about it is beautiful, except for the guilds. The guilds are scary, and the guilds take themselves far too seriously. And you really feel like a cog in the machine, and that's a side effect of the realism in the game. It also does another thing. Yeah, it's actually the only other MMO other than Final Fantasy where you can play. You can wear different hats on the same guy. That's really the only other one. So, boy, it's almost been an hour, or has it been an hour? I forget. I can't. Oh, we just hit the hour mark. Um, what was I? Whoa, been talking nonstop for an hour. Um, what else do I have? Final Fantasy. Yeah, like I said, I don't expect myself to be lasting all that much longer. All my friends are not even playing this shit. All the friends that say, "Hey, we'll play it," not even here. I even see them online. Actually, I could be wrong. They could actually be playing right now as we speak. I just haven't turned on Skype because I haven't been able to log in. So I'm like, what's the point? They know where to find me. I'm almost always on Steam. Um, so yeah, I should probably. Uh, That's pretty much it. What games am I looking forward to? Looking forward to Grand Theft Auto, all that stuff, and videos. I'm sorry, I'm being a little lazy with my videos. I promise I trimmed down my videos, and I just released two videos back to back of fucking an hour and shit. I have a plan on doing video minutes, and like a minute of just the funniest thing that happened to me in the video game. It's more akin to my older videos, like when I just uploaded shit I was from that we get from Black Ops. Um, they'll probably be a little more polished, but I don't know when I'll do them because I kind of expect to be playing Final Fantasy, but that's the future of my videos if anyone cares to know. I Yeah, while I like just making long rambling videos. Oh, I really should explain why I make long videos. A lot of my friends say, "Why you make long videos?" I don't really like watching these long videos. It's because when I play Final Fantasy 11, um, a lot of it was just watching videos. A lot of Final Fantasy is waiting. It's a waiting game, and you wait for things to happen. And while you wait, you do a lot of things. And while I waited, I would play my console games. So also in addition, because I'm a fucking dude who I have to be bombarded with. So like right now as I'm speaking, I have a TV on that's playing something. I'm shitting out. This is my average. My average. Here's how I play. my ideal night of gaming. I have my video game. I have my PC on, playing a game on the PC, while there's a movie in on my TV, or another game going on my console, and I'm watching YouTube at the same fucking time, or listening to something on YouTube. I shit you not, that's what's going on. I'm overloaded with bullshit, and there's probably gonna be music in the background. That's how I do things. The reason why I make long videos is to harken back in the days when I would play Final Fantasy and just let a video play in the background. I would just listen to the guy, and I would just listen to him. It was just noise in the background. It was kind of like talk radio. How you would just, you remember? I don't know if you ever have talk radio. You just put talk radio on, and it's just background noise. And occasionally, some like a topic would come up, and you really like it. You're like, hey, look, and you start listening. And other times you don't. That's the whole. Those are my videos in a nutshell. Those are the people. That's the audience I'm catering for. Is the people who just want to hear me talk, and they might hate what I'm saying. They might agree with it. They might not even be listening. That's all I'm there for, and that's what I like. And I make them long because I don't like 15-minute videos where you have to go back and you have to find another video to click on. You just click on. Okay, another talking voice. So that's what pretty much is. This is talk radio. That's what I'm going at. So I almost like a podcast, but I'm not saying it's a podcast because I don't really podcast. I rather be somebody's bitch on a podcast than to host my own. And I rather a friend of mine, well, I maybe a friend of more like a friend of an ex girlfriend. It does podcasts about anime and video games. I kind of want to join in on it, but anime is not my fucking forte. And if you talk about anime with me in the room long enough, eventually I'll fucking I'm gonna bust your balls. Anime. I'm not into it. I'm like the only. I'm seriously. I'm like one of the only people I know that like violently opposes anime. I'm not violently opposes anime. I take that back. There's a few that I've watched. A few that I kind of like. I think Ramna a half. I kind of like that, and Chobits. Now I know you already painted a mental picture of me. I'm a pervert, but really, I'm tired of fucking Love Hina, that kind of shit. Love Hina, anything like Love Hina, I object. I fucking push away. Actually, there's another anime I wanted to watch, but I haven't really. I don't know the name of it. It's an anime where I think the two characters are zombies, and one of them bleeds a lot. One of them, like in every scene, they bleed a lot. It's a really perverted anime, but I like that one because if it's fucking original, I'll get behind it. If it's Love Hina, I will reject it. I'm fucking tired of Love Hina. I'm tired of the Japanese intros are all the same, and I'm fucking they repel me all the fucking time. But like I said, Chobits I liked. Chobits is like the only anime I actually own. I bought it. I bought it more to support a friend. They had an online anime store, and I bought it. And I sat through it and I liked it. It was okay. The ending I fucking hated. I really don't know why the Japanese have to inject that kind of an ending in the Chobits. I'm gonna spoil it for you. The ending I don't actually remember, but I remember the ending is that the Chi is the Persicom. As it turns out, she's like the most important fucking Persicom ever created, and the whole universe revolves around her. And the ending is that there's a couple of robots that are after her, and I think the girl robot's about to capture and dismantle her, but then the guy robot pulls her away. Oh, and then she looks like she's about to die, but then she unleashes her inner energy and blows away all the competition, and she lives with this average Joe's medical student guy happily ever after. I don't know why it had to inject itself with that because the episodes up to leading to that were actually pretty good. I don't know why. I don't know what they're getting at, and it's just typical Japanese anime, I guess, with the whole our main character has to be the most important fucking dude on the planet or else we're not having a fucking. Now I understand the character being the central theme of the story. I understand that, but being the most powerful fucking person on the planet just because random chance? No, I don't like that shit. And that's what keeps me away from Gundam. And I'm no I'm trying to like I have a couple of Gundam games, and I'm thinking that's not the case, but that's what repelled me from Gundam because Gundam seemed the same way, where this guy Oh, Zone of Enders, fuck that shit. Zone of Enders, eject, fucking boom. Zone of Enders is exactly what I fucking hate. Where this kid fucking falls into a goddamn suit and it happens to be the most powerful fucking suit ever created. Get the fuck out. Okay. Anyway, I'm done. I wanted to make this an hour, but I'm done now. Okay, I'm done ranting. Um, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for whatever. Take it easy.